Hello friends, this is Dr. Shweta. I am making videos about NEET SS preparation. I have already made two videos and this is the third and final video of this series in which I will be discussing about NEET SS Pediatric preparation, uh, about NEET SS and INI SS, mainly NEET SS. If you have not watched my previous two videos, then no issues. But this is the most important video which will help for your preparation. In this video, I will be discussing in detail about the books to be used, the strategy, role of coaching, etc. So please watch this video completely. And moreover, this will be long video. Bear with me. And in between, as I have written in notes, so I will be watching mobile in between so that I don't I don't forget any points. So to begin with, so basically a NEET SS paper of pediatrics used to consist of 150 questions and in which we have to answer, and there is negative marking also. This is basic rule which is applicable. If they change this rule this time, then that is a different point. So to begin with, what are the books which is necessary for the preparation of the NEET SS preparation? So, if we ask me the first and foremost book which is important for NEET SS preparation, then it is Nelson. Nelson textbook of pediatrics is the most important book for the preparation of the NEET SS. Basically, almost all of the questions, a large chunk of them, come from the Nelson. So it's very necessary that we read them. For the beginners who are in the final year MD itself, it is my advice that you try to give your final year MD exam by reading Nelson itself. It seems difficult, but it is not that difficult. Basically, what happens ki for the whole of the 2.5 years we study Nelson, and at the time of the exam of the final MD exam, we tend to switch to OP Ghai or some other textbook. But then what happens that the memory which we have found from Nelson is forgotten. So better strategy would be to see the previous 5 or 6 years questions of your university exams, take mark in the Nelson itself, and then while studying, always read these topics from the Nelson. So it might be possible that in Nelson certain things are not given in tabular form. You have to search for it, but if you read them, then it will continuously come in your vision, and though hence the memory will be last for long and it will help in your NEET SS exam. So I did the same. So it will be my advice for all the final MD exams that if you are giving the your final year MD exam, then give it primarily from Nelson. Obviously, there are few topics for which you have to download like RNTCP guidelines or for NACO guidelines. That are separate things. But for larger part of them, uh, it's very mandatory that you read from Nelson. So but this is for the final exam. There are many people who have prepared, starting preparing now, or are preparing after a gap of say 2 to 3 years. So what for them? There also I will tell that Nelson is very important, but how to read Nelson, because it's such a huge book that it's very difficult to read, and then it's very difficult to memorize it. So my basic the basic understanding of the reading will be to first we have to see at what are the questions which have been asked in previous NEET SS papers. Basically, whatever exam we give, whether from UPSC to NEET exam, every exam has a more or less similar patterns in which there are repeat questions which have come in the previous paper. So we have to mark them correct, because these questions are going to be repeated, and it will be a sin in our part if we are getting them wrong. So for this we have to first collect the questions which have been asked. Basically, at my time of preparation, I used two sources for the previous year questions. uh, Please do only 3 to 4 years question, nothing more than that. The first is the first will be the from the telegram groups. In various telegram groups they share previous year questions. Matlab recall of the questions, you make a diary and at least write the topics which have been asked, and mark them in Nelson and then read them. Then second is the book which is by Dr. Kiran Shankar Das. Dr. Kiran Shankar Das sir book is there, in which they have given 3 to 4 years of previous year questions. You see the question paper and and solve the MCQ, and along with which whatever the question has been asked, you mark in the Nelson. I mean, if there has been question of gentleman syndrome, then you mark this chapter of gentleman syndrome in Nelson and then read the chapter completely. If there has been syndrome question on, let us say, nodal cholestasis, then you mark the nodal cholestasis in the book of Nelson and read them. No need to read other topics from Nelson. Whatever topics have been asked, you only mark that topics in the Nelson, and then try to read it. uh, because generally what happens ki in the exam they ask the same topics but the questions are asked in more depth. Like if they are asking some treatment, let us say this time, then next time they will ask about investigation or more detail of investigation. So at least the topics which has been asked, you have to mark in Nelson and read that topic completely from Nelson. Second, never always read the tables and see what questions can be formed from the tables. Because questions are generally asked from the previous year topics and then that of the tables. Third will be few chapters are there in Nelson in which you can quickly, which are very important, which you will know after going to after watching the previous year papers. Like there are every year there are few questions on the neonatal cholestasis. Every year there is question on Gentleman and Barton syndrome. Every year there is a question on more or less there is question on the various type of seizure disorders. There is Nelson 2 pages which has been given. So we have to read this completely, like various type of syndrome they have given, like infantile spasm, etc. So you have to read them from Nelson. And obviously we are not beginning from we have to understand that we are not beginning from zero. We all are MD or DNB people, and we have already read our textbooks. So it's just add on, and we are just capitalizing on the things which we have already read. So it seems that it's difficult to read the whole Nelson, but it's very but it is doable. So for the preparation, best book will be Nelson, from which we will mark previous questions from the book by Kiran Sankar Das or from the Telegram groups, and then we will read that topics. Second portion will be the second thing which the book which I will recommend. The second book which we think is Cloharty. Basically, it is not necessary to read Cloharty completely. It is practically impossible also. So what we have to do, whatever the topics which are important, like let us assume that we all know caput and C5 hematoma are important, or Erb's palsy is important, Klumsk's palsy is important. Then only read this topic from Cloherty. Only important topics. Like let us assume that uh, like topics in which they have divided preterm into various groups, or topics of the surgical pediatric surgery parts like congenital diaphragmatic hernia, etc. There are questions every year. So you read that topics from the Cloherty only, nothing extra, just that part. Like the antepartum monitoring part that is given Cloherty, you read that and try to revise that itself. But every time when you read the book, don't read everything, only the important topics of the Cloherty and the Nelson. That two books will be reading. These two are important books. Then previous year question, third part. Then the fourth will come, that is NEET PG preparation book. That is very important. Every year, whatever the NEET SS year it is, there are 30 to 40% of the questions which are basically of NEET PG level. NEET PG, not NEET SS, NEET PG. Like difference between AKI, prerenal or renal, or some syndrome, or some chromosomal abnormalities. So you buy one PG text, PG NEET PG preparation book. At my time, I used Sushant Bhanja sir textbook of pediatrics, which is very excellent book. And if you get it, then you should read it at least and solve the MCQs, because they have given Nelson in great detail. And in the initial the theory part of the paper, they have given Nelson, which you have to Nelson in the MCQ or box form that we have to read, and then MCQs are also good. But nowadays I see that it's not available because last it was published in 2020, I think. So there is also a book of Meenakshi Bothra ma'am. Book is also good. If not, then at least you take subscription of any app of the NEET PG of pediatrics only, and solve all the MCQs of NEET PG level, because there are 30 to 40% of the questions which are going to come at NEET PG level, and it's very essential that we mark them correct. So we have to read one NEET PG preparation book. Second, we have to read Nelson selected points, then Cloherty selected points, then previous year questions. Then after this there comes a few topics which you have to read extra, like PALS and NALS protocols, PALS and NALS protocol. uh, that you have to, you either watch from coaching videos or from wherever, but you have a note of them, because one or two questions definitely come from PALS or NALS protocol. Then whatever the new guidelines which has been approved now, like regarding nephrotic syndrome, or like RNTCP or NAC guidelines, or just like febrile seizure, then you download the papers, and only there are 8 to 10 points which are essential, and read them at like that you have to solve the MCQs. uh, so these four sources, except this we have read the recent advances in which we will read the recent recommendation. Then if there is a disease outbreak, like at my time there was outbreak of the coronavirus, so I read that, though there are no question, but it was expected that some questions will be asked about MISC, etc. However, there was no question. That's well, this year, like this, there is a virus HMP, I think virus. Then you read about it. At least the manifestations in units or pediatric age group, because there is a high chances that one or two questions will come from. So I have asked, I have discussed in about details on books. So the summary will be Nelson textbook of pediatrics, only important topics marked from the previous year papers. The previous year questions which will be get from either Dr. Kiran Shankar Das sir book or from Telegram groups. Then we will have Cloherty textbook of pediatrics, Cloherty textbook of neonatology. Then we will read one NEET PG level book, and then there will be books. Then there will be downloaded articles of which have been approved recently, and then any NALS or PALS guidelines. Now here comes the part of the coaching. The part of the coaching is always arguable. Many people will say that whether to follow coaching or not. My personal view will be, if you should take subscription of any coaching, it can be prep ladder. At my time there were two coachings, prep ladder and speed. I took prep ladder. Sandeep Sharma sir teaches very well, and moreover coaching uh, keeps you updated and you keeps you motivated, because in every now and then there are tests, and always give tests whether we have prepared or not. I mean, we are not at zero level, we have read something or other, we are already MD or DNB people, so we have already some knowledge, basic knowledge. After giving MCQ, it will sharpen our mind. So basically you have to try to solve, try to give the tests, whatever tests they are coming. Secondly, like in the prep ladder, there used to be uh, various tests times. Then Sanjeev Sharma sir used to take classes at YouTube's, etc. So you should try to attend them. And if you are solving MCQ, then try to bookmark the questions which are difficult, and try to revise only those questions when you are revising the so it will make the process more efficient and more easy. And moreover, then there will come part of the whether to make notes or not. So my recommendation will be, if you watch videos, generally coaching provides you with notes, pre I mean, initial notes. You watch the videos, and whatever extra points are there, you write in the notes. uh, it's very important that you decide itself from the beginning, because we all know which topic is difficult for us and which is easy for us. Let us assume it's topic of inborn error of metabolism. Then you try and decide in the initial itself that which book you are going to use at the last phase of revision. It can be a NEET PG level book in which you have written extra points, or it can be a coaching notes which you have made. But it should be clear in mind from in your mind from beginning itself that this text is only which you are going to revise in the last page. I personally suggest that topics of inborn and of metabolism, which are volatile, you should take a NEET PG level book and take help of coaching, and write all the important points there, and revise only that point at the before exams. Like let us assume you are reading nephrology, then you should be clear in your mind that in the nephrology, you will, whenever you will revise the nephrotic syndrome, you will read ISPN guidelines. For acute AGN, you will read Nelson textbook of pediatrics, and for CKD you will read Nelson. For which part you will read Bagha textbook of pediatrics. This should be clear in your mind. And like in cardiology, I think that if you read Nelson, then it's also good. So basically, whatever I have thought that the initial whatever we study, it should be, we have to condense in such a form that we are able to revise in last 14 days. Last 14 days or 10 days are the most crucial days of your journey of the NEET SS preparation, because that 10 to 14 days, if you are doing some job, please take a break or take a leave, and that 10 to 14 days only focus on studies. And if you have set in mind before itself that whatever what you are going to revise in 10 to 14 days, then it will help you immensely. And like I had decided itself previously itself from the beginning itself, that in the last 10 to 14 days I will read NEET PG preparation book completely two times, and then I will lead IM from coaching notes and other parts. As I have decided, like cardiology I will lead from Nelson, then neonatology part I will revise from OPGI and Cluharty, like that. Huh. So you have to divide your whole preparation in such a way that in the initial 3 months, it should ideally take 6 months and last for 15 days of revision. So in the initial 3 months, you have to revise the whole of the whole of the book. I mean, read one of the book, or either you read it, or you by make note by video, by watching videos. In the next 2 months you will revise the same stuff, but in the faster pace. In the next 1 month you will revise again the same stuff in a faster pace, and last 14 days you will condense all your knowledge and try to revise at least 1 to 2 times, 1 to 2 times. It's very necessary. It's always said the last 10 to 14 days decide your rank very much. So if it is not clear in your mind that what you are going to study in the last 10 to 14 days, then it will be difficult. Then the last part is of image based questions. Basically, image based questions are generally asked from Nelson textbook of pediatrics. So if you have watched Nelson, if you have read Nelson, and if you have little bit of knowledge, then you will able to crack it. So this is the whole strategy which should be followed, in which I have covered the types with books, and then what uh, strategy to follow. Then the exam day preparation, exam day question. Generally the sheets in NEET SS Pediatrics which are good, I mean, where there is no bond etc, including all factors, come under rank 50 to rank 100. So very defensive approach is not advisable. I mean, if you are going to attempt, you should attempt at least 80 to 90% questions. Matlab, there is no advantage in being defensive according to me. I mean, you have to go for the kill, so that you, even if three questions are wrong, then you do one correct, then you got the equal marks. So better to go for a kill and attempt at maximum as questions as you can do. However, this strategy can vary from person to person, but this is my advice. So in the whole series of the three videos, I have talked about everything about NEET SS preparation, and hope you best of the luck for the NEET SS preparation. It is in March, I think. I'll be making more videos in upcoming parts about how to read Nelson, and how to and other medical related videos. And if you are in doubt, you can ask in the comment section. For the MD, final MD people, I will again say, read Nelson. Try to give your exam by reading Nelson, so that it becomes easy for your life in the future for your SS preparation. Thank you.